Hey, what's going on, everybody? Gabriel Santos here. It's towards the end of my day. I hope everyone had a happy Sunday, happy Father's Day. Salute to all my fathers out there. Um, but today I want to talk about, a lot of people ask me, how did I get out of my addiction cycles? How did I get out of my vicious cycles with pot? And there are a million and one things, tools, tips, tricks that I can give you all. But the reality is that, you know, I know that many of you probably already know a bunch of the things that I'm telling you. You've read books, you've watched videos on habits, you understand, the pleasure pain cycles of the brain. But my assertion is that you've tried to make a change for a while now, but you can't seem to get out of that. And so because you can't seem to get out of it on your own, you feel like you don't have the tools, you feel like you don't have the insights, you feel like you don't know how to get out because you've proven to yourself through failure, right? Like I must not know how to get out of this. And in a sense, yes, a person who finds themselves in a state of addiction, in my experience, they're essentially all about short-term pleasure, and there's some type of pain that they're not willing to face, whether a surface level pain like just having to deny yourself pleasure, or a more deeper pain of like, you know if you don't numb yourself right now, you might have to actually face the fact that you're not happy with your life, right? And that there are a plethora, right, or a group of challenges in your life right now that you've been ignoring, and that you can only procrastinate your life for so long before you must face your problems in the face. And that can be really confronting for people, myself included. It's like, oh shit, I've been running and running and running and avoiding for so long, and I've created this pile of things that I need to address, but I have been refusing to address them. But anyways, so I guess my message for you in terms of like a practical tip, I suppose, um, listen to your heart, listen to your soul, because what happens is we numb ourselves with pot. Not that we only use pot to numb ourselves, but if you're in a state of addiction and dependency, instead of really taking the time to listen to what your body, mind, and soul are asking you to do, we escape instead. And this doesn't just have to do with pot. We escapism is just a thing for human beings. We don't often take the time to really sit with ourselves and see like what's going on in there. What are the things that are really nagging at me? What's bothering me? What are the things that I need to address instead of avoid, right? And so if you listened to your heart and not your, you know, conditioned mind, your heart would probably say something like, right now is not the best time to be smoking weed. But then your brain will go, but I just want to be stoned, right? And so, again, there's a time and place to use marijuana. There's a time and place to reward yourself through hard work, right? But I imagine what you want to delete from your life is the pointless, aimless THC consumption, because it just doesn't serve a purpose. It's a waste of your time, it's a waste of your money, it's a waste of your energy, it's a waste of the pot. And so just like anything else, we don't want to live wasteful lives. We don't want to make wasteful decisions. And I think what may be nagging at you is that some of you have gone through years of wasteful decisions. And that in itself is a stressful thing to confront, which then may lead you to want to smoke, which I totally get, you know? So I guess maybe something to know is that this is not an easy thing to navigate. Truly, it's not, because you know, some of us have trained ourselves to need marijuana to just deal with stress, because what happens is any inkling of stress in our bodies, we tighten up and we don't have strategies to get out of that, right? Or for some of us, smoking weed is the best emotion we're going to feel all day. And I'll tell you what, man, being stoned is a very powerful place. It's a very powerful space. It's a unique space. And you know, when a person finds themselves in a very unpleasant state of emotion, right? They're stressed, they're in physical pain, they're mentally suffering, they're emotionally suffering, they're spiritually suffering. Marijuana offers this period of grace where we can be away from that heaviness, away from that pain, away from that stress, away from that just burden like feeling. You know, so it's really no wonder why some of us don't want to let go of pot when it comes to dealing with anxiety or stress. Okay, but if you really listened to your heart of hearts, what does it tell you? And you may not even know, like, how can I tell the difference between my heart and my head? And I totally get it. Um, I mean, maybe let's take it out from that, you know, how about ask yourself from the head, you know, what does the best version of me do when it comes to pot? Okay, so you'll very easily come up with the answer. It doesn't smoke as much, right? I smoke after 5. I smoke on the weekends. I only smoke X times a week. Okay, now then the next step is how can you execute that plan? Right? So there's so many different ways that you can find yourself. There are so many different paths to take, right? From where you are now to where you want to be. Like there's so many different ways that you can get out of this. Um, but if you're not willing to go through what you must go through in order to create the change you want, then you don't deserve that change. If you want to get to the top of a mountain but you're not willing to walk up the mountain and deal with the physical pain and the physical challenge that comes with that, well, then you don't deserve to be at the top of the mountain. Plain and simple. Okay, so if you keep saying you want something but you're not getting it, it's because you're not doing the things you need to do to have it. You know, I often see, and again, guys, I really do understand. Like for many of you right now, you're going through a time of like you just want to absorb the information, right? You're more interested in seeing what it might take to get out of addiction or dependency, but you're not actually committed to doing that, right? And this is, again, I must reiterate, it's tough, yo. Like a big part of your emotional buffet on a daily basis is to be stoned. And for many of you, that is the highlight, the emotional highlight of your day, which I totally get. Okay, so if you were to remove that from your life, there goes your emotional high point of the day. And so then you're not even looking forward to your day anymore because like, well, I don't have that payoff at the end. And this is where we accidentally screw ourselves, guys. When we make pot too woven into our lives, that's when it gets hard to escape because it's so ingrained in our lifestyle. It's ingrained in how we function, it's ingrained in how we feel, it's ingrained in how we, you know, and again, there's nothing wrong with pot, but when it becomes too much of a center in our lives, then we find ourselves unable to have the same baseline of happiness, the same baseline of fulfillment without it. And that's what I don't like personally. When not smoking creates so much suffering in my life. That should not be the case. That should not be the case, right? A child is happy to be and live his life. Granted, he has, supportive parents, or he has a home life that is nice. But he doesn't need pot to be happy. He doesn't need pot to enjoy himself, right? Neither do you. But we train ourselves to, and not only that is, many of us lack, not many of us, but people in general, it's common. We're not taught, guys and girls, we're not taught how to, operate and maintain a level of mental health that's good. We're just kind of left to our own devices. And for many of us, left to our own devices means pot, alcohol, unhealthy video game use, right? Mega Netflix binging. And again, there's nothing intrinsically wrong, like morality wise. Like, there's nothing wrong or incorrect with using those outlets, but it's more so about the impact, right? The long term implications of how living that way will have. You can only smoke so much pot before it becomes negative. And I mean, it can be. Look, I'll finish it off with this. Some people truly can, like, they're more balanced out such that pot doesn't have this addictive hold on them. Okay, but you got to ask yourself, am I one of those people? How is pot affecting my life right now? And just get bare bones honest with it. And stop being a little bitch about it. Like, I gotta add that one in there, because for some of us, we're in a state of victimhood and we're being little bitches about the fact that we have to smoke less weed. Guys, there are people in the world fucking dying for heinous reasons. People having their arms blown off. People who are mute, deaf, blind. People who have no parents. People whose parents just died today. People whose cars and homes got taken away from them. People whose jobs got taken away from them. And you're bitching about how you can't have a joint right now? Come the fuck on. Right? So, anyways, hope this video was helpful. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.